Okay, hello everybody. Everybody tuning in and hopefully listening to another episode of the Everyday Martial Arts podcast. We've got a fantastic guest, the first lady that I've interviewed actually on Everyday Martial Arts podcast. We've got Karen Jones, who's our PUMA Taekwon-Do instructor. She teaches in Frome, and I'm sure you're going to find this fascinating. She's got a great story to tell. So hopefully you can prize that information out of her. But anyway, welcome to you, Karen. How are you?
I'm good now, sir. I'm on live and ready to go.
Okay, excellent. Well, I'm going to start with the question that I'm always going to start with when I'm doing these podcasts is to tell us a little bit about your martial arts journey and how you've come to be sort of where you are today, really teaching martial arts and living it every day.
Okay, so I started Taekwondo first. I was just a 16-year-old girl going to a gym, pumping the leg press way too much. Not sure what else to do, to be honest, because I hated PE in school, hated fitness, hated everything about fitness.
Wow, that's
so I thought, as you do, going to college. I went to do a hairdressing qualification. And as you do, you kind of want to fit in, so you start going to the gym. Went to the gym. I literally just did legs as much as I could and the odd running machine. But I saw a leaflet, and that's how it starts. Saw a leaflet, self-defense, and I thought, I'm going to start nightclubbing soon, as you do. Or maybe I've had started already. Yeah, maybe. So I did that basically for a bit of self-defense. Went in with my big hoops, as you do. This is back in like the 90s now. So these big hoops, and it took me 4 telephone conversations over about 8 weeks to pluck up the courage to walk through the door.
Wow. And
then it took me another hour's sit down before a class to sit in on a class to watch it.
Okay.
Then it took me to turn up again with another conversation to actually get through the door and actually train. The only thing I wouldn't do is take my hoops out. So when I had Mr. David Shepherd, who was my original instructor for 10 years.
Great guy. I must say, great guy. I had some lovely days with Mr. Dave Shepherd.
Plenty of world championships and still world championships under his belt. So I always remember in a sitting stance punch position, he came over and said, "Have you brought your parrot to training today?" And I'll always remember that. And he just kept on, and I never got it. Press up position. That parrot's weighing you down. That parrot's weighing you down. Never understood what he was saying. And it was about my big hoops. So that was the last day I wore big hoops in training. So that's my first introduction to martial arts. Then went on from there, absolutely loved it. Yeah. I still did my nightclubbing and my way out teams. I think they were most probably the hardest part of staying into Taekwondo. To mix with people and say, "Are you going to go training?" And I find that with teenagers nowadays as well, is if they can survive the late teens in martial arts, I think they're a martial artist for life, really. They either start before and quit, or they start after and quit, or they have a massive break in between, and then they come back, say, 20 years later and go, "Wish I always continued." So, I had many a times I kind of met at the pub, went training, then met back at the pub. But from there, I think the martial arts journey has taken me into fitness. I used to train at least 6 times a week. Right. About 2 to 3 hours a night. As soon as I got my car license, I was training over it because I used to be in Hereford. That's where I grew up. As soon as I got my car license, I used to travel. So wherever I could go, I did go. Just to do a 2-hour training session, I'd train and drive 2.5 hours to get there. It's just mentality. But then I moved up to Wolverhampton. There I went up the ranks, but I want to open schools. So I did 4 schools, which are still running now. Right. And then I've moved down here, but I moved down with the army. So I was in the army team, and I was the first female team captain of the army team. Went from that and shattered my coccyx and broke my ribs. So I had to do my own rehabilitation and come back into it. So falling over and high kicking was not the best idea, really, when you got ribs. But I got back into it, but the anxieties were a lot higher to compete. Love the idea of competition, but my anxieties kind of don't get me where I feel like I should be going. Instructing has been my kind of main push forward, because the students inspire me to go on that ring half the time. I think it's just life. It is what it is, and I got to keep going. Well, 22 years in October it'll be.
Well, it's interesting, because I think, as you said, it becomes a passion. It's very. I think once you've been in, as you say, for a little while, you get that bug. It's very, very difficult to let it go. And I found that myself. I had a proper job when I started Taekwondo, and obviously went into teaching full time. Once I got the bug, I just had to do it. But what I try to do myself is, I still, in my opinion, and this is what this podcast is all about. This is about living martial arts every day, and I still do that. I get up. I love my training. I love the physical side of Taekwondo, the training side of it. Keeping fit, and it's my hope that I'll keep doing that at least for another 30 years or so. But
your life, sir.
Exactly. So how do you fit now? How do you fit martial arts into your life every day?
So obviously with the teaching, I think that really helps you to keep on top of everything. It's a lot easier to say that you have to keep up to date with things, and it keeps your hand in. However, your fitness side of it, you still got to do yourself, because if you're teaching, those days where you feel like, I just don't fancy being in a class environment, you still got to go and do something. And it does become little and often more than these 2 to 3 hour training sessions 6 days a week like I used to do. I tend to do more little and often near enough every day I'm doing something, whether it be going over that theory or going over a certain pattern because I can't quite remember that move, or it is a training session where I actually go and do a flexibility session or a fitness session, because actually that's the building blocks of doing your class when you get there. So you kind of train before you get there.
yeah, definitely.
Almost.
Definitely. Well, I think you do, and I think as an instructor, we're there as examples, aren't we? And I always think it's best to practice what you preach. So us still doing it, still getting up, still training, I think is very, very important. As a role model to the students that we teach. So good on you. So do you find that the sort of fitness or exercise or training that you do in the daytime, what sort of things do you do to sort of complement that, really?
So I've found I've been active anyway. So my job is now a level 5 masseuse.
Right.
However, I do personal training. So to do the personal training, I have to be able to demonstrate. To be able to demonstrate, you have to be able to do fitness. So since 2003, I started martial arts in 1999, but in 2003, I really got a taste for it. I was asking my instructor, can I take the class, when I was like a green belt?
Right.
So I kind of but I did. I was always that person going, everyone's being asked to do the warm-up. Why can't I do it? I don't understand. I'll do it. I'll do it as a white belt. It's fine. So I really got a taste for it back then. And I think now it's the fact of, if you can't do something, you don't have to be excellent at it. As long as you can describe what you're doing, as well as back it up in some way, technically, then you can get that person. But it's not about that person being the same as you. It's about them being better than you.
Yeah, definitely.
That's how I see it personally. I want them to be better than me. Not, I want them to go win medals and that. It doesn't mean I can do it specifically, but I want them to do it. But the base of it is you've got to keep your fitness at home. I do the massage, and there's a lot of core strength, and I've noticed I've only done that for a few years, but my core has to be so strong because of it, and my back, oh, if I don't keep it up, like after lockdown, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm already starting to do the strength training and the core base, because in April I'm starting back, hopefully, starting back to work full time, and I guarantee that it's going to be a rush through the door and then it'll be go quiet, but in that time I've got to survive. My back's got to do it, and my core's got to take it. My arms are only tiny. So oh, hang on, I got a dog emergency.
Oh, that's all right, you carry on.
It's got a ball. So I'm finding even my day-to-day work, I'm squatting a lot. Just do massage, I'm like, oh, this is an L stance, or this is a walking stance. So if you had a massage off me, this is what I'm thinking. I'm afraid. I'm putting it into my training.
Well, I think it's good, isn't it? As you say, sometimes, you know, fitting the exercise into your everyday life in the stuff that you're doing is great, isn't it?
I tend to seem to attract that type of PT client as well. So it happens to be that they end up like some sort of boxer size, or they like, and it just happens to be you attract the type of person as a client that seems to be your style.
Yes,
not on purpose. You know, I have got clients that I do where they're just weight training that, but
sure,
you do tend to attract that person. But that's also on the flexibility side. Now, I do like doing the flexibility because I personally are just not very flexible. Might not look at it now, but when I started, I really couldn't do anything. I couldn't get past my knees. I wasn't very flexible at all. Now it only takes me a couple of months of not doing anything, and I go boom, can't touch my toes again, kind of thing. So I'm not naturally flexible at all. But the amount of people say, "Oh, you're naturally flexible." Oh, I hate it. It's like, no, I've worked for this. So I have to do that. That's just, if you want to keep it up, you just got to do it. So with my clients, my day to day, I'm asking them to I'm asking them to stretch. I need to be able to stretch as well. So I'm trying to do my training with them as well as my own training.
Well, sorry. That's okay. This, as people will know, this is completely live.
I can't find it either.
I think it's important. You know, it's funny when I was training and I was when I started, I was very much the same. Actually, I had no flexibility at all. I played football for years, and you know, I really put a lot of effort into my flexibility work. But the worst thing is people do say that. They say, "Oh, you're really lucky. You're so flexible." And as I often say to people, you know, the harder I worked, the luckier I got, because you know,
the more natural you got.
Yeah, nothing to do with luck. Nothing to do with luck. But you know,
he wants to play fetch with you. Sorry.
All right, that's okay. you carry on. So you know, I look at myself and I look at the benefits that I've got from martial arts, and you know, not just my living, but you know, I've got great friends from it. As I always mention, you know, that's one of the things, a social part of martial arts. For me, as a teenager, I don't know. I needed a focus. I need something that I could do as an individual, because I'm actually quite an individual type person, but also be part of a team. And martial arts was that for me. So, you know, my next sort of question to you is what do you think the main benefits that you've sort of got from martial arts?
To be honest, from when I started as well, I think you just hit the nail on the head. I was very go to college, go do what I do on my own, very much like that.
Sure.
But as soon as I mixed with the martial arts, I did it all on my own as well. I think that helps.
Yes.
I think you're making your own decisions and stepping through. That's why stepping through that door was so hard. But now I'm a little bit not isolated. I think I found the team aspect in PUMA a lot more than I have in other associations. So I was in TAGB, and also I was in the army.
Yes.
The biggest squad aspect, obviously, for me was the army. So
Right.
I've not actually experienced the team, the real camaraderie, click almost, until I went into the army team, and that was just amazing. And if I could do that again, it'd be amazing. But who knows? On that turn, then go into the squad training that we do with PUMA. I've missed that since lockdown. I mean, I like being pushed. Maybe that's just what it is. I like being pushed. I mean,
sure.
PUMA as a whole, nice with family. Taekwondo, you could go and speak to somebody who does a Taekwondo in a total different way, and you've got something in common. So it instantly creates that bond. And with that in mind, I think I would have been very individual. I think I would have been a bit of a recluse kind of on my own. But no, if I hadn't have done the martial arts, I don't think I did it from 16. So I could see that I would have gone down. I did kind of go down the partying route, but I would have done that in a total different way. And I hate to think where actually my life would have been, if I'm honest.
Well, I very much the same. I mean, I actually started close after my 16th birthday as well, actually, as it happens. And, you know, it was something that, I mean, I gave up football in the end but I never thought I'd give up football. Football was everything to me at the time. And, you know, I ended up playing at sort of quite a good level of football as well. But once I got, you know, captured by martial arts, that was it. But what I will say is that, you know, my me then is very different from me now. And what I would say is that, you know, in the early days, you know, I was obviously I was into the fitness side of it. I was into the sparring side and all of it really. But what I found recently, and I've started doing this, and it's a question that I'm going to ask you, but I've found a little bit of meditation, and I found some breath work that I do. I actually follow the mad Dane Wim Hof. I do a bit of Wim Hof breathing, and I do that.
I heard of that one, sir.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I heard of that one.
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, I do that twice a day. I used to do Buteyko breathing. I practiced that a little bit of that last year, but I also do a little bit of meditation. And meditation for me is tough because I am a hyper person. When I first looked at the, you mean I have to sit still for 10 minutes? I have to sit still for 15 minutes? I didn't think I could do it, but I'm getting much better at it. And those two things together have really, I know, made a difference to me. So my question is do you do any meditation or breath work?
You're going to laugh at me. So I got kicked out of a Tai Chi class when I was younger.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because I just can't shut up. I mean, come on. It's my persona. But I've tried meditation and yoga and things like that. The best way for me to do that is do it on my own, because that means I've got no one to talk to, except for the dog. However, personally, the one time I think I'd say as a whole is swimming helps me.
Okay.
And it sounds a bit dark, so I did triathlon for quite a while, and I can coach it. But I find with the swimming, I find it hard to get there. That's the only problem. But the breathing aspect of it helps me.
Okay.
And also, your head's underwater, you can't talk to anyone.
No worries.
But no, I find with that, I think it's a different zone because you've got to concentrate on your breathing. Yeah. And the format for me is relaxation with flexibility. So when I do my stretches, I am very specific about my breathing.
Right.
So I think that would be the only kind of focuses, except for Taekwondo itself, when we do the patterns, is really my area of breathing, because my headspace, like you said, hyper. I am very much like that too. And my dog matches me, obviously. But I don't stop. I just don't stop. So if I do stop, it's to do some sort of crafting and I've got 3 things going at once. So, but it's not really, it's just downtime. It's not breathing as such exercises. The exercise, I would say, me doing some sort of, even going for a run concentrating on the breathing and things like that, that's the only aspects really I do personally.
Well,
I do see for anxieties. I've had plenty of panic attacks in the past, so I've had to concentrate on my breathing. So I understand how I can bring it back, and I understand how to teach it to people. So meditation, I have tried.
Yeah.
I am so on the same level. I find it so hard. I'm more that person that's looking around the room going, oh, no, it's not happening. Oh, look at that piece of grass. It's so interesting. No,
Perhaps
it's not
you need to find a high mountain somewhere and nothing else around, no distractions. But
hiking. I love hiking.
It is tough. It is tough, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I think that, as I said, for me, it's been a hard road, the meditation. Just being able to sit there and sit still and just breathe and bring myself down and just calm myself, because, as I said, everything that I used to do and to a certain degree do now is all 100 miles an hour. That's how I've lived my life, really, and I think that it's nice to have a change of that. But one of the questions that I wanted to ask as well is that I'm a very, I think because of my personality, I'm very self-motivated, and I do a lot of things on my own. Whether it be going somewhere on a motorbike and sitting down reading a book on my own, or doing things like that, playing harmonica somewhere strange. And but I have had sort of training partners in the past, and obviously my good friend Master Osborne, we've trained together over the years. Who that is. we've trained together over the years. So, and again, another question is have you had a training partner in the past? Do you work well with the training partner? How do have you found that?
I find it hard to say yes and no, because I've had many different experiences. I tend to have someone, for example, it was when I was younger, I always had the one person, I wouldn't say as a training partner. I don't even think they realized that I just aspired to be like them. So I'd go, oh, I want to go with you. I want to go with you. Can I run with you? I don't think they realize that I just go, I just want to beat you. It's fine. And then it just seemed to be the day that I kind of did eventually catch up and become a bit more competitive with them and overtook them, then I had no one else to look around for. So you kind of had to, after that, I had to be kind of self-motivated. And that was up to black belt, that was. And this other person kind of just didn't like it.
Right.
As soon as I kind of started to overtake, they just didn't like it because they stayed on a plateau. They were always good at one level. And then you work hard enough, you keep going, eventually, could take years, eventually you will get, and then you'll go, well, hang on a minute, that's happened. What do I do now? And so you have to find it in yourself to get motivated. I do find that hard when it comes to Taekwondo personally. So I like doing, the squad training, because I find going to the squad train actually pushes me that extra level. I don't need to train with anyone. I just need to train around people.
Right. Okay.
And for example, I don't know, I was next to Mr. Pixton once in a squad training session, but I was with a different partner.
Sure.
Now, in certain exercises, I knew that I would be better than the partner I was with, but my eyes were on Mr. Pixton. He doesn't know, by the way.
Right.
And it just turned into like a self-motivated competition to strive harder and faster, and I knew their level was better than me, so I was going to go and try, and that's what I do all the time. That's how I do it. But when it's at home, I have to just do it on my own. I haven't really got anyone at the moment, so.
Well, as I said, we all sort of work in different ways. I'm definitely I like to sort of push myself and be as self-motivated as possible. So there we go. And I think that, particularly as I'm quite a hyper person, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And sometimes I just do things off the cuff that I want to, somebody might think, well, that's a bit silly. So
get that done.
Yeah. So it's just easier if I do it on my own. and with that in mind, another question that I have is, I have what I would call my ideal day, and that would start with me getting up at 6 o'clock, which is the time I normally get up. My eyes normally ping at 6. My body says, right, you've had enough, and I ping. And it would probably involve my children. It would involve my motorbike, a bit of training, a bit of teaching, playing guitar, a few things like that. So, what would your ideal day look like?
A settled ideal day, and you can make it happen sometimes if you want to be hyper enough, even in 24 hours, and get up early. No, I think every day I try, and I always spend time with my dog. I mean, it is just me and her, and that's been different for certain reasons. I like to help someone. Now, and it might sound tacky, but I like to help someone. So my job gives me that. It might be my teaching gives me that. It's just helping someone. If that means answering a question for someone, I've kind of ticked the box for the day. So I think helping someone in some way per day, or on an ideal day, would be big. That getting your heart rate up. So I think that's that hit of adrenaline of some sort. So it doesn't have to be fitness. It can be just walking out a bit of a faster with the dog, or it could be doing something exciting. So it could be learning something new.
Right.
Personally, learning something new is, like you said, off the cuff. Oh, I'm going to go and do that. Yeah, that's me. Randomly, I'm just going to go and join that. I'm going to do this, and also study something. So there's learning something new physically and doing it, and then and being creative, and then there's learning something new behind the scenes. So that's towards something. So I'm very chip away at something. I like to chip away at something. Have projects. So
right.
And also just try and get out and see people. So friends and family. I mean, I think that's important at the moment. I think we've all realised that. So in an ideal way, I'd see a family member at least, and a friend if I could. And if I lived closer to the sea and the mountains, I would be at least by water once a day, and I would be up a hill somewhere.
Definitely. I love being outside. I love being with nature in all weathers as well. Actually, the good stuff and also the bad stuff. You get a sort of a sort of sense of achievement when you're out there as well, which is nice. And
because nobody else wants to go out, and also. Yeah. There's less dogs and people around, so you can enjoy it more.
Exactly. Yeah.
Get a surfboard; it's awesome.
Well, we're almost coming up on time. Actually, it's gone really, really quick, so we're nearly on time. But I don't know. Is there anything else that you'd sort of you'd like to add to perhaps those that are training, those are in the early part of their martial arts journey that you could say to them? Any motivation you could give them?
If I knew what I knew now, I would still stick to have no regrets. If you think you're going to regret not stepping in that ring, if you think you're going to regret not trying that grading, or like me trying to get into that hall for that first session, or that first ever class, or that fitness session, or saying no, I can't do something, but you haven't tried. So don't have regrets. If you haven't done it and you haven't tried it, don't regret it. That was your decision. So I live quite by that. I'm very big on no regrets. So I think if anything, then
Excellent.
Never underestimate your opponent, no matter how much they look nuts.
No, definitely true. That's very definitely true. Well, I'd like to thank you for coming on and just sharing some of your thoughts with us. I'd love to, again, perhaps get on another time, maybe seeing some of the fitness routines that you do, and perhaps giving some of the listeners some advice on maybe how
I'll
they
work
can.
You out, sir. It's fine. Bit of payback.
how they can work out or whatever. Well, I'm hoping that there'll be people looking at this, not just PUMA Taekwondo people, which we're members of, but hopefully some other groups as well, martial art groups. A whole array of different martial arts. So hopefully they'll get something from it. But I'd like to thank you very, very much for taking the time to share your thoughts with us. You know, I love martial arts. I know you love martial arts, and you know, anybody watching and listening to this, just have a try. I think you'll be surprised, pleasantly surprised, and you know,
variety.
Exactly,
like variety.
That's right. Get in there and give it a go. Thanks very much. I will hopefully catch up with you soon, and
yes.
you know, we can share some more some training tips. Okay, thank you.
Now, obviously, don't smash you too hard on the training ground.
Oh no. That's
I've just said all that.
All right. Goodbye to everyone. Hopefully, we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.